The conflict over land in the Middle East has raged for decades, with many narratives claiming rights, histories, and religious ties. Among them is the claim by the Jewish people, also referred to as Bani Israel, to the land known today as Israel. But what does history say? And even more curiously, what does the Qur'an say? Today, we take a deep dive into the historical and Quranic basis for the Jewish people's connection to the land, one that stretches across millennia. Let's begin at the very beginning. Long before modern borders were drawn, long before global politics intervened, a group known as the Children of Israel, Bani Israel, emerged in the ancient Near East. They were descendants of the prophet Jacob, also known as Israel, whose 12 sons formed the 12 tribes of Israel. Their story begins in Mesopotamia, migrates to Canaan, suffers slavery in Egypt, and finally returns to the land. Not by coincidence, but by divine command. One of the most significant events in Jewish history is the Exodus, the liberation of the Israelites from Pharaoh's Egypt. Under the leadership of Musa, the Israelites wandered the desert for 40 years. During that time, they received the Torah, the commandments, and a promise. That promise was not made by men, but by God himself, the promise of a land. This land was not some vague territory. It was the Holy Land, or Al-Ard al-Muqaddasa, as referred to in the Qur'an. Surprisingly to some, the Qur'an affirms this divine promise to the children of Israel. In Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:20-21, Prophet Moses, is quoted speaking directly to his people. O my people, enter the Holy Land which Allah has assigned to you, and do not turn back and become losers. Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:21. Let that sink in. The Qur'an clearly states, the Holy Land which Allah has assigned to you. It's not metaphorical. It's not symbolic. It is an assignment, a divine allocation. What is more significant than that? This verse indicates that the land was assigned by Allah, not claimed through war, politics, or colonialism, but granted as a divine inheritance to Bani Israel. This verse alone presents one of the most powerful justifications in Islamic scripture for the Jewish people's historical connection to the land. But the Quranic recognition doesn't end there. Another verse of significance is found in Surah Al-Isra 17:104, which mentions the children of Israel in relation to the land once again. And we said to the children of Israel after Pharaoh, dwell in the land, and when the promise of the hereafter comes to pass, we will bring you forth in a mixed crowd. Here, Allah instructs the Israelites to dwell in the land after their deliverance from Pharaoh, again affirming their right to reside there. But there's more. The verse adds, we will bring you forth in a mixed crowd, which many Islamic scholars and commentators have interpreted as a prophecy of the return of the Jewish people to their ancestral land after being scattered across the world. Think about this. The Qur'an, revealed in the 7th century, references the eventual return of Bani Israel to the land, something that did not fully manifest until the 20th century with the creation of the modern State of Israel. Could this be more than coincidence? For Muslims who believe the Quran is timeless and filled with wisdom, these verses cannot simply be brushed aside. It's essential to understand that in Islam, Allah is described as Al-Adl, the most just. Allah does not favor a people based on race, tribe, or ethnicity, but on faith and obedience. In multiple places, the Quran honors the legacy of the children of Israel. They were chosen above all others of their time. They received prophets, scriptures, and blessings. Despite their rebellion or mistakes, the covenant remains part of the divine narrative. Surah Al-Baqarah 247 says, O children of Israel, remember my favor which I have bestowed upon you, and that I preferred you over the worlds. If their story was merely one of rejection and punishment, these words would not appear. Instead, the Quran offers a balanced view, one that recognizes both their struggles and their divine role in history. And central to that role is the land, a place where prophets walked, where revelations descended, and where divine justice unfolded. Now, some may ask, what about the rights of others in the region? Islam teaches fairness to all. The Quran commands justice, compassion, and respect for all human beings. However, Recognizing the historical and divine link between the land and Bani Israel does not negate the rights of others. It only emphasizes that the Jewish people's presence in the land is not an accident of history, nor a colonial imposition, but a continuation of an ancient promise. This is not a call for exclusion or displacement. Rather, it's a call to understand the foundation of Jewish presence through Quranic acknowledgement and historical continuity. Following the Quranic era, the Jewish people faced centuries of exile, displacement, and persecution. From Babylon to Rome, from Spain to Russia, they were scattered, as the Qur'an itself references. Yet, in every generation, Jewish prayers ended with one hope. Next year in Jerusalem, in 1948, after the horrors of the Holocaust and centuries of diaspora, the modern state of Israel was established. It was not the beginning of a new story, but the revival of an ancient one. And perhaps, just as Surah Al-Isra 17:104 foretold, they returned in a mixed crowd, Jews from Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, returning to their ancestral homeland. Let us be clear. Quoting the Quran to support Jewish connection to the land is not an attempt to rewrite politics, nor is it to take sides in today's complex conflicts. Instead, it is an invitation to reflect with open hearts and sincere minds. Whether one is Muslim, Jewish, Christian, or of no religion, truth should be sought. And the truth is, the land of Israel holds a special place in the Quran as the land assigned to the children of Israel by Allah Himself. To deny this connection is not only to overlook history, it is to overlook the very words of the Quran. Let us move forward not in hatred, but in dialogue, not in distortion, but in clarity, not in war, but in wisdom. O my people, enter the holy land which Allah has assigned to you. Surah Al-Ma'idah 5:21. Dwell in the land, and when the hereafter comes, we shall bring you forth. Surah Al-Isra 17:104. History remembers. The Quran affirms. The story continues. What do you think? Comment your thoughts on these views.